And good afternoon, and welcome back to Beyond the Devastation. Today, I am your guest. My name is John Perez, and I am the host and guest today. Our guest got a little bit tied up, and that's what happens when you need to have a plan A and B. So good afternoon, and welcome back to Beyond the Devastation. Here we talk about how you survive the devastating things in life. How do you overcome? How do you make it back? How do you make it through? And then how do you make it over? So today we were due to have Mary Kaye Holmes, and to talk about beyond sex trafficking. We're going to bring her back next week, and she was scheduled to be on for two episodes. But today, episode 5, I want to talk to you about something that really transpired over our classes that we had, our small groups last night, and that was how husbands should treat their wives. From a devastation standpoint, look, the worst thing you can do is be devastated, and how to be adversely affected by a divorce. How do you overcome that? How do you make it out from that? How do you really rebound? You've given your life, you've given your all, and you said, "I do until death do you part," and here you are departing. Well, I can tell you from some insights from my own life. I was married in 1985. I was 21 years old. I was married for 22 plus years to my first wife. Out of that union came 3 children, Sam, Matt, and Kate. But it got to a point in time where I realized that we were at an impasse. There were many things that were happening. Communication, there was a lack thereof. Being able to resolve issues without raising your voices was a problem. And this all became a big issue. And we had to figure out a way to move forward. So I decided the only way to move was for me to move beyond the devastation of taking on the fact that I had to get a divorce. And I had held back for doing it for so long because my parents went through a divorce. I didn't want to repeat the cycle, right? I'd seen divorce in my family. I'd seen divorce in my home. I've seen divorce. So I didn't want to see a breakup. So I held on for as long as I could. Now, there's many people out there that probably been through a divorce or a pending divorce. And especially in the church world that I operate in, divorce is a dirty word. It's a dirty word, but I'm here to tell you today that, sometimes we got to get beyond that and realize that, you know what? If we don't get our minds in a place where we can go through, and if there's been so much devastation within the home. Look, we've heard of people going back when there was domestic violence and getting beat up. We've heard of just husbands and wives just fighting it out to the bitter end in front of their kids. Folks, this has got to stop. I was on a domestic violence board for a long time, and I saw the devastation up front and personal with these women that were running with trash bags in their hand and trying to figure out how they were going to navigate. Their kids are going into brand new schools. They're trying to hide from the person that was doing all this harm. They were getting mental health care, all because we wanted to stay. Listen, there's a lot of things that we stay for. Let me give you some things. We stay because of financial security. We stay because we're trying to keep the family together. We stay because this is all we know. We stay because we're afraid to go. And we're so afraid of leaving that we stay in the very mess that is there. So I wanted to give you a couple things today about how do you know when your marriage is not working out? Number one, I think a home has to have a godly presence in it. If the head of the household doesn't have his head on right, that's a problem. We really teach, and I believe that the man is the head of the home, and he's got to have his head screwed on right. Because see, if the man doesn't love himself, how can he love his wife? How can he love his children? How can he love everybody if he hates himself? So I think number one, going into a union, does the man that you want to marry have his head on right? Two, does he exemplify Christ? Does he really look, is he really going to set that example, that bar that high to look at saying, you know what? He wants to follow after God so that he can lead his family through this process. Three, does he genuinely love you? I know it's hard, but does he love you for your body? Is that all he wants? Or does he love you because he genuinely loves you? Look, too many men and women, I think Steve Harvey wrote the book about getting the cookie. Look, if you're only interested in getting the cookie, then you're getting into marriage for all the wrong reasons, right? There's more to marriage than just sex. And if you don't get that now, let me just give you a quick glimpse of life. After a while, some things just don't work like they used to. And you know what? What do you have then? So I think let's go back. I think you've got to have a right mindset. I think that you've got to have your really your brain really screwed on right. I think you really got to have all the other things. Do you have a job? Does he have a job? Does he have a place to take you? I'm talking to the ladies today. Does he have a place to take you? Or are you going to be living with his mama? Wrong answer. Do you have a security that that everything is going, you've got things laid out? Because look, if you don't feel secure, ladies, ain't no sense in pushing that button just to walk down the aisle and look and get dressed up and be a bride for a day, because come the next day, reality hits. So what I think you've really got to do a really deep dive. And I think the hardest thing that we don't ask the questions, where are they mentally? What are some of the things that they've been through in life? How are they handling some of these situations that they've gone through? Look, I believe that the man will show himself in situations. My pastor told this story a long time ago, and he said, um, that he was in the midst of a counseling session, and a woman was describing how a man was sitting in the parlor, let's put it out, in the living room, right? And then the spouse, or the spouse to be, the fiance, stepped on his boot. He was in the military, and he got bent out of shape that she messed up his shine. And he said the spouse was talking, the fiance was saying that her mom walked her into the kitchen and said, "Is that the way he is?" "Oh, no, mom, he's just having a bad day." Look, men will give you clues about how bad they are or good they are. Let me not put it that way, but it goes both ways. Men, if you see a woman that, look, you see her now that she's neat, she's just, all she is about the Benjamins. All she is about her satisfaction. All she is about her. That's a problem. You see these problems up front. They're there. And I think, my mom always said this, and it's true. Love is blind, but the neighbors aren't. They see it. Do you see it? Because if you don't see it, let me help you. Take the glasses off, clean them up, and then put them back on. I see you. I see you better. And the hardest thing and I know because I did it, the hardest thing is to walk away from a vested relationship. It's a hard thing to do. Now, I just want to help you so you don't go get beyond it. This is why this podcast is called Beyond the Devastation, because beyond this devastation, there's a disruption in your life called divorce. There's a disruption in your life called children now that are in a broken home. There is a disruption in this life called you're on your own, single mom or single dad. I don't know how you're going to do it. Let me just pause here as people are jumping on, and I see it. Hey, we were due to have Mary Kaye Holmes on today, and unfortunately she couldn't make it, and she will be back with us next week. But stay with me for a few minutes as I talk about the devastation of a broken home, because I think it's really important that we understand that this is what we're seeing today. I'm seeing too many single moms. I'm seeing too many dads that are sleeping on the couch because they don't have communication skills to be able to deal with their spouse. They're not dealing with their children. They're not dealing with themselves. They're not dealing with life. And today I really wanted to kind of give you a few minutes of my own life. Look, I spent 22 years in my first marriage. It was a nightmare because I made it a nightmare. You know what? I didn't know how to do some things. I wasn't a great communicator back then. I didn't communicate where I was emotionally back then. I had a lot of junk in my trunk that I didn't take care of. And all of this, I brought it into a first marriage. And guess what? It was a train wreck waiting to happen. And it happened. And I had 3 kids that we had to bring through this. And it was so hard for them. And they saw the devastation. Up front, personal. They saw us going through. They saw things yelling and screaming and all this other stuff that was happening. And guess what? My concern for them, and was really difficult. And it was unbelievable the trauma they went through. I'm talking about some serious trauma. And it was insanity. It looks like my guest is going to be coming on. She's logging on here real soon, but I'm gonna let me just keep going up for a few minutes before she jumps on. This devastation of a broken home is real. Sister Angela, thank you so much for your comment, but this is real. We got too many broken homes everywhere. And that's not the way it was intended to be. It wasn't intended to be that jacked up in our house. But you know what? I tell everybody that the man sets the thermostat in the house. He sets the control. And as he goes, so does the whole house. So if he gets hot, everybody's hot with him. If he's cool, calm, and collective, guess what? You can get more things done. You can move through the pipeline of life. You can accomplish what you've always wanted to do, but you can't do it if somebody's out of whack. So what do? I think we get counseling. Pastor, I don't need counseling. Yeah, you do. Because if you're yelling and screaming and carrying on, somebody's got to step up and say, I need help. Now, I'm going to tell you that it was hard getting that help in my first marriage because everybody felt that they were fine. I wasn't. I was jacked up and I knew it. I went and got help. But I'll tell you, it took a lot of me to get to that place. But how do we get help? Who do we call? Look, many people want to call a Christian counselor. Look, let me tell you this. Just find a counselor. Find a counselor. Let's start there, right? Some people say they're Christian counselors. Look, been to those, done that, got the t-shirt. Hope you got the sound effects. I'm not saying that there's not good ones out there, but I think the reality is that, look, go to somebody, talk to somebody, right? I go to somebody, right? But he's not a Christian counselor, but he's just somebody I can talk to. Look, pastors go through. I am not perfect, but you know what? I need help and I get help. And I'm not afraid to say it. You know what? It makes me better. And I serve my people better because I have an understanding better than I did yesterday. And I'm not ashamed to say that help is good. Right? So let's go back to the top of the list, right? Let's do a real quick recap. Women, if you're looking to get married, I think you need to do a little bit more of a deep dive into this guy that you want to marry, right? Where is he emotionally? Where is he mentally? Where is he financially? Where is he physically, right? So how are you going to get all of this, done if we don't check these things out sooner than later? So let me just pause here for just a second and just send this email. I apologize. It was not my intent to do all this, but let me just do it again. Thank God for technology. And there we go. And we're off. Okay. So thank you, Johanssons, and I love this one. I got to post this one. I've been to so many counselors and not Christian counselors, and they suck just as bad. I love when people are transparent. I really do. Because you know what? There's some good ones. There's some bad ones. There's some ones I would never call back again. Right? Why? Because they suck. Right? Look, they're just there for billable hours. Right? But that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to get help. Right? That's my intent is I'm feeling like junk. Right? And I want help. And here you are telling me you're a counselor or a marriage counselor. And then I ask if you're married and you tell me you've been divorced 3 times. I'm not coming to you for help for a marriage. You can't even get yourself right. I think we need to check these things out, right? So let's look at a couple things. I think we need to check out the guy we're interested in doing. Sorry for that. But y'all, yeah, you are, because that's really what you want to do. But let me just, I don't think that was a slip of the tongue, but I think it's reality. But the man I want to spend my life with, where is he emotionally? Where is he physically? Where is he financially? Is he a mama's boy? I want to know that up front. I want to know what I'm getting into. If I'm getting into that nightmare, I want to know now, because I'm going to have a battle with mama. Men, where are they emotionally? Where are they? Now I would say, look, I think women got their stuff. Some women got their stuff going on, but I think it goes both ways. I think if we're coming together to be one, where are we in this battlefield? Because if we're not coming together as one, then guess what? We're going to have problems. So the devastation of divorce can be curbed if we do our homework up front. That's about as simple as I can try to make it. I know it's not simple, but here's where I'm really trying to help everybody. Do your due diligence. Don't just see somebody from the physical and say, I'm falling in love. Well, you better check that out. And I think, look, here's my thing. Look, I put on a pastor's hat. I try not to put it on during this podcast, but it's so hard not to put it on. So here, if you want to get married, pray about it. What's so hard? Oh, God, is this the guy that you want for me? And if you don't hear God giving you an answer as fast as you want, wait. Wait. Wait until he answers. So, these are the things that I think that we've got to really look at and look hard at doing, because if we don't, we're never going to really get the marriage we're looking for. Now, my wife and I, Dr. Paul and I have been married. We're going to be married in, December 18th is coming around the corner. Be 11 years. I can't believe it's already been 11 years, right? But look, have we had our hills and valleys? Absolutely. But have we figured it out? Every day. Every day. Every day I try to figure this thing out. Because if we don't work on it daily, it will work on us. So I'm hoping really this whole podcast was to help somebody out there. I don't know where. I don't know where you are listening to it. I don't know when you're going to listen to it. I don't know when you're going to catch me. But here, let me give it to you again. When it comes to the matters of the heart, guard them, but use some common sense. Look, if you see that he's already showing who he is, run. Run the other way. You remember the movie Forrest Gump? Run, Forrest Gump. Run. Just keep running. Just keep running. If he genuinely loves and cares for you, he's going to show it. Now, gentlemen, I know you're going to love this, but I'm going to say it. Look, don't start anything that you're not willing to finish. Yep, I love that, Sister Angela. I think you're right. Today, we must do a complete background check. You better believe it. I'll check his credit, too. Because it's going to be your credit. And about when you say I do, you did. You did inherit that bad credit. So, hey, check it out. It can't hurt. You can go to freecreditreport.com. Look, you want to know if this brother's got some child support that you don't know about. You want to know if he's got some kids you don't know about. You want to know where his exes, do they really live in Texas, right? You want to know the whole scoop. You don't want anybody knocking at your door saying, hi, I'm Mrs. Johnny so-and-so. Oh, I'm married to him. So am I. I got a piece of paper that says I'm married. So do I. That's bad news. That's real bad news. So I think doing your due diligence is important because, again, the devastation of divorce, you got to look at the impact from the kids. I saw what the impact was on my kids. I saw the impact on my kids, and I see it today. It's been devastating because I've watched their relationships. I've watched the things that they've gone into. I've watched the things that they see and how they do. You know what? This is a problem because my biggest fear were my children going into relationships. Scared me half to death. Now, I love my son. I love my son because, I'll tell you, I'm going to share this because I think this is where he and I have grown so much. My son had a question. My son for Father's Day takes me to a Mets game. Yes, we're Mets fans and we're diehard Mets fans and we suffer in silence because we also suffer with the Jets who suck. You talk about a team that sucks. That sucks. But anyway, enough about sports. We're driving down and he says, Dad, hey, look, I'm having some difficulty. and I need you to help me. And I've got girl problems. So I had a chance, Angela. I had a chance, Johanses, to and everybody who's listening, because I'm only seeing them in the post. So I had a chance to kind of talk to my son, not only as a father, but as a pastor, as a friend, as a confidant, right? And I'm not saying anything out of turn or anything that I'm breaking his confidence, but I really love the fact that he asked me the hard questions. I really love that he trusted me enough to give him advice. As a dad, it's one of the greatest things you can have, because I don't want to see my kids go down the same road I went. Because I've been trying to avoid that like the plague. I want my kids to have a healthy relationship. I want my kids to have a healthy life. I want my kids to start off better than what I did. I want my kids to love who they are in love with and love them for life. Not know that they got an out called a divorce. The devastation of divorce is crazy. And it pains me, because I've seen them get into some relationships that I said, oh, God, help me to help them, because it's going to hurt them somewhere down the road. But Matt and I had a great conversation, and we followed up, and I'll tell you, it was really cool. And, let me just tell these folks. This is live, so this is what happens. So she had some technical difficulties, but I think that God has his way of kind of, figuring out what people want to do. So today I wanted to talk about matters of the heart, because this is what Beyond the Devastation is about. How do you get beyond where we are to get where we're going? Look, throughout this whole series and episodes, you're going to hear a little bit about me every time. I'm not going to give you it all, because he won't come back. Because if I give it to you all now, he ain't never come back. So, here's where we are. We're going to wrap up here in about 2 minutes. How do I find the right one? Listen, that'll take me more episodes than I can shake a stick at, right? My question is to you, is it, look, if you're seeing the wrong one, walk away. I know it's hard, but I'd rather you suffer a little bit now than suffer a whole lot 5 years from now. Because I think that sometimes, again, I'll go back to what I said, and I love what Johannes put up here. You know what? Love is blind, but the neighbor's not. You know why? Because they talk. She's right on. They do talk. They talk a whole lot, because they're talking about you, saying what an idiot you are for going down that road. And I know, because my mom was telling me all the stuff that she heard, and I didn't want to hear it. I was so blind. Trust me, I couldn't see daylight. I couldn't see anything. But how do we get to the next step along the road? I think that we got some great comments, right? I think you need to do a background check. Hey, listen, and if they're now willing to do it, oh, you don't love me, you don't trust me. I want to go into this with all of my eyes open. So let's check everything out. You can check me out. Here's my portfolio. Here it is. Here's my life story. Boop. Drop the mic. Because I'm trying to help you not go the road that I went. It was painful. It was destructive. It was hurtful. It was a nightmare that I don't want anybody to go into. So here's the theme of the day. Check them out. Check her out. And if they don't check out, you check out. Don't ask me to repeat that. Rewind the tape. Check them out. If they don't check out, you check out. Do the checkup. because I think it's necessary for your survival. Because I think the more you know going in, the better you are going out. Look, if there are issues that they've dealt with, find out. Talk to their mom and dad. Ask them how Johnny grew up. Oh, Johnny used to take and bang his head up against the wall when he was 5. It might have rattled something in his head. Hello? That's not a good sign. Or Mary, I'll tell you, oh, God, she was just trouble, but man, she turned it around and she really found herself when she went to college. She became a straight A student and man, she excelled and she didn't start out strong, but she finished strong. Hey, I want to hear that story. These are the things that we need to really understand. I think the more we understand them up front, the better off we all are. So let me thank you all for watching this either now or on demand or watching it live. But really, thank you, Sister Angela. This is deep stuff. It is. Look, this is reality stuff. And this is not reality TV. This is reality stuff. Look, trying to help you, to coach you, to get you to where we got to go. And if you can't get it done, it's going to be a problem child, right? So how do we avoid the mess? We check it out. We really do. And, I'm really trying to figure this all out for all of us. And I always told my kids, look, man, I am the book that you want to read before you go into a relationship. Read the book because I'm right. I wrote it. Read the nightmare. Read the horror story so that you get scared straight and you don't make the same mistakes I did. And that's what I'm hoping for, is that people will hear my story and say, oh my God, I don't want to do what he did. You don't want to do what I did. Because if you do what I did, you're going to end up in the same turmoil that I was. Look, I suffered. I did everything God told me not to do. I walked away from God. I walked into this relationship. It was a complete down the road. I'll tell you how bad, how some other things. But today I wanted to lay this out because we got too many people going into relationships blind. We're blinded by lust. We're blinded by the flesh. We're blinded by everything. And it's hard. I know it's hard. Trust me. Let me just read this here. However, keep in mind that yep, I think, you know what? Look, giving you false info because they don't want you to see you happy and will hurt a good relationship out of just spite. Man, look, stay prayed up. And I'm going to close right there. Stay prayed up. So thank you all for joining this episode of, I can even remember my episode 5, right? Of Beyond the Devastation. Join us back next week. We will have Mary Kaye Holmes, and we will talk about beyond the sex trafficking. And I'll have the attorney herself talk about it. God bless. See you next week. Same time. We'll be on at noon. But today, share this with your family, friends, frenemies, and everybody. God bless.